back to the Nerd for No Reason podcast. I hope you have your betrothed's ugly dead mother's ring as your proposal ring as you sit here and listen to me, Raven, and my co-host, Mark, have a chat about it.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mark.
We're going to chat about it.
I watched this movie and now I'm so emo.
Oh my gosh. The teen angst hit
The
him real
pain,
hard.
the pain of 1,000 suns burned within my soul.
Nobody gets me like you do, but you're in love with another man.
Boy, this is man. We'll talk about that, but I can't. If I start talking about it now, it's all consuming. I can't get on a tangent because I will not stop.
Yeah, no, that's fair. How's it
How
going?
was? I mean, it's all right. I just got back from a. I don't know if I want to call it a beauty pageant, but it was a pageant with Amy, and it was a junior miss pageant, and she was all done up and had some things, and this is the first time I'd been to something like this, and it was kind of wild.
Yeah,
It wasn't toddlers and tiaras wild. Okay, so like
thank God.
there wasn't a honey boo boo that came out there and started tap dancing and doing all that. It was really just the girls came out. They had their cool dress on. They walk to a point. They walk over. They answer a question that was like, "Tell me why you like your dog." And it was like, "My dog's great." And then they walk awkwardly to the other side of the thing, and then they walk off. And it's like, "This is Amy, and she likes chocolate, and her favorite color is pink," and all of that. And it was real kind of low stakes. It was kind of cute and kind of fun, you
Yeah.
know. But there was this one girl who I didn't even know how to take this, but she said, "Who's your favorite person?" That was her question. "Who's your favorite person?" And the little girl goes, "My mom. I love her, even though she only has one leg." But she still, and I was like, "What?
Why
What?"
did she say that?
So I was just like, in my mind, there was anywhere else, this would have been 100 people in the audience going, "Oh!" But, um, but later on, I saw that kid out there as she was getting in her car in a parking lot, and sure enough, her mother was in a wheelchair, only had one leg. I was like, I'll be damned. She does only have one leg. uh, let's
I
see.
love her even though she
It
only has
was
one.
it was hilarious. Um, uh,
Kids are too brutally honest when they don't need to be.
it was great, and there was also a very stark difference from the kids that it was their first time, because there was a couple girls. There was one girl in particular who was like, she clearly, by the time it was time to go out on stage, she didn't want to come out there. And her protest was, "I ain't smiling. I walk out here. I walk the route." And when it came time to do the question, I don't know if she was just nervous or what, but when she got to do the question, they were like, "Tell us what you like about school." And she just looked at the girl who was asking the question, and the girl pulled the microphone back, and she turned around and walked to the other side, did a little pose, and walked off stage. I don't think I saw that girl smile once. Um, so
Dude.
yeah. But there were other girls who came out there and they were just slow and flaunting and just, I was like, come on, come on. Because there was a 4-year-old category and they came out there slow because they didn't know what they were doing.
Oh, of course,
By the
yeah.
time it got to about the 10-year-olds, and their steps were like, boom, boom, boom. I'm like, if you do not come on, I am
Oh my
tired of
gosh.
being here. Um, yeah. Oh.
Well,
And then
they
they
gotta
get there.
make dramatic entrances.
Well,
That way you
I don't know.
know who they are.
I
Ooh, do you
guess.
remember that girl? She walked literally like so slow. I don't even
No. And then during the awards, there's this local cosplay group that goes around and dresses up as different Disney princesses. And listen, I get it. Sometimes we got to pick. We have to get who we can get, and I don't want to shame this girl, but the two girls who they got to play Ariel and Tiana were not quite on the mark. Um, the girl who played Ariel, she she was a little too thick. She was a little too big. All right, she was too big to be Ariel because Ariel's like a 14-year-old beanpole, and I
damn.
get it. I get it. I get it. I don't want to. I don't want to shame this girl. No, man, come on. We can't we can't get this far out of character. But they were sweet, and
Very
everyone had a
nice.
good time, and it was super fun. How was your week, Raven?
I was just needing it to fly by. That's all I ever just want. It
Yeah.
was all right. Yeah. My family is in town this weekend, so hung out with them quite a bit. Did, you know, I went and painted pottery with some friends, and I'm excited for it to come back next weekend because that's like my new favorite thing to do is I like zone in when I start painting some pottery or some little task that I have of that's just like painting. I'm just like, what's up? This is all I need for the next 2 hours. I'm gone to the world. But yeah, that's how it's been.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Oh. All right. Well, you ready to travel back again to the other side of the country to Forks, Washington, where the sun shines and but not bright enough to make vampires sparkle in the middle of the day?
It's cloudy. Thank you.
Mm, we're gonna have to agree to disagree.
Yeah, no, this movie was definitely a lot sunnier than the first one. Anyways, yes, let's talk about the beloved 2010 Eclipse of the Twilight series saga. Which one is it? Saga?
Yeah, the Twilight Saga.
Thank you.
Too fast to eclipse.
Too Eclipse, too fast. Such wolf. How? So stupid. All right, Mark. What did you think about it?
I don't know what to make of this movie because there's parts of it that I really don't like, and then there's parts of it that I think are cool, and based upon that, this movie like equals out to be like a 6 for me. Um, I think this movie is best when Bella and Edward and Jacob are not the focus of what's going on. I get so frustrated with the three main characters, and I'm just like, God, y'all are horribly dull. Especially Bella. Like Bella really chaps my butt this movie. Edward kind of the same. Jacob's still on his bullshit. Um, but like when we get the cool lore dump of like the Native Americans and all the werewolf lore, that's cool. When we get the vampire backstories with what's her name, Rosalie and Jasper, that's awesome. And just like with the books, man, the B plot is better than the A plot with our main characters. So yeah, that's kind of the way I feel about it. Raven, how do you feel about Eclipse?
Um, I definitely like understand where you're feeling on that one. Because Chris was trying to ask me like a bunch of questions, and I was like, honestly, like I know I've watched Eclipse a good amount of times, but like the first two were always like chef's kiss, like those were my jam. And then the the last two I definitely like watched quite a bit. Eclipse was kind of more of just the one to be like, here's some filler. Just have this while we set up getting ready to get wedding and creepy ugly baby.
Yeah.
There's some like you said, there are some good parts into this, and I definitely love having a lot more of the Cullen background and seeing Charlie quite a bit. That's always a fun time. But
Oh,
yeah,
Charlie. Oh, I love Charlie.
God, don't we all? So you want to dive into it?
Yeah, man. Uh, so yeah, I mean, I guess since we're talking about Charlie, Charlie, great dad. The scene with Charlie trying to give Bella the talk, I was like, yo, like this is a if you're a parent, this is a funny and awkward scene that but at the same time, like Charlie is I feel so bad for this man because he's I can understand everything where he's like, oh yeah, no, I don't like Edward because he left you and I had to deal with you crying and screaming and all of this. And just because he gets you home on time doesn't make him any better in my eyes. I don't know what you see in this dude. Um, and then Jacob shows up, and then now he's turned on Jacob. But then again, me and Charlie are kind of one and the same because Alice shows up and he's like, hey, I like Alice.
Right? They got so chummy. She's over there like, yeah, Charlie. And she was like, excuse me? You're
Yeah.
calling my dad Charlie? You guys are on a name by name basis? What's up? My God, Alice is over there hitting on my dad now. Ugh.
Yeah.
The love triangles just keep forming.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I love Charlie, and I love him just trying to be a good dad. But man, he gets shit on just constantly. Poor guy. Because, you know, Bella's like, ugh, you just don't understand. I'm just trying to get married as soon as I graduate high school, and that way I can turn into a vampire. It'd be sad that I'll never get to see you or mom again, but like, ugh, I just want to be with him, Dad. Dude, she's wild out here. Edward is my life.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
When she said that, and he
This,
literally was just like, yeah, okay.
yeah. And it's so, I don't know what to do with these two because they're both so horned up for each other. Like Edward and Bella, they're so horned up for each other that Edward is like just kind of leading her on in a sense,
Oh, yeah.
but also at the same time he's like, no, I don't want to do anything before I get married, like I don't want to do it. And she's like, instead of being like, oh, okay, like that's cool and I respect your wishes, she's like, no, come on, let's do it, blah 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 blah. And then I thought to myself, like, hold on, wait a minute. If the roles were reversed,
Hmm.
Edward would absolutely just be like 100% creep.
Yeah. But also, he's like, I'm 109. Like, I haven't done this shit so long, Bella. I probably haven't even done this shit. Let's be real, because he's like, I would have courted you. I would have asked your dad for your hand in marriage. I would have gotten down on a knee. We would have done this the best way. And she's like, bro, people just bang now. And then like maybe if you get knocked up, you get married.
Yeah.
And he's just like, ew. Honestly, Edward's like whole response to it is just kind of funny to just watch him be like, why would you even want to do that? You should respect marriage. And Bella's giving like divorce statistics
Right.
when you're expecting to, quote, spend the rest of your life together. All right.
It's so
It's a good
it's
time.
so wild.
Uh,
Oh.
they went to Florida. What
No,
did
I
Edward do?
no, I
They
think
just
Edward hung back. Edward
no.
didn't go.
Edward was in the house.
Was he?
Yes, they were literally like Bella and her mom are sitting out there soaking up the sun, and he's sitting inside watching her. And I was like, how are you not like glistening just from like light fragments beaming onto
Okay.
you somehow? Because we are in fucking sunny Florida, dog.
Okay, we got to talk about this. They are loosey goosey with the sunlight rules in this whole movie because we
Yeah.
start off with they are in that flowery meadow, and then like the sun is legitimately shining on them. We see the orange rays of light shining on them, and he only glitters just a little bit. And I'm like, wait a second, man! Like we can see the sunlight. Come on. Later on, um, when they go see Charlie at the police station, again gets out. You can clearly tell the sun's out, and he's not glistening one bit. So, yeah, they're kind of real loose with the sun rays here. So, eh,
It's cloudy forks. It's okay, man.
yeah,
You didn't. Those were just movie. Don't think about it.
just yeah, just don't think
I'm
about
sorry. Your 7 mile runway scenes, or however many miles it was,
it.
totally
you know,
makes more sense than, oh my god, he's
you
not
know what?
listening.
You know what? I deserve that. I deserve that, and I will take your score.
Thank you.
So,
Uh, yeah. So, what'd you think about Jessica's speech that leads them to have then a party at the Cullens, where everyone's like, "Yo, none of us have ever been here before. Let's do it." Jessica's little graduation speech.
uh, I listen. I love Anna Kendrick. I liked the speech. It was very, um, you know, early 2010s where it's like, yeah, let's go make mistakes and let's go be reckless and college is a time to just get wasted and not be an adult yet, or whatever her sentiment was there.
So
and
true.
and I get it. Cool, man, you're 18, go live your life, dude. Don't sit down and go get married, go be reckless. But Bella was like, yeah, I want to be a vampire, that's gonna be my recklessness.
I can't wait to throw away my actual life and become the undead living.
And I need to know why Bella was so
Undead.
ice cold to Alice, because she was like, Alice was like, yes, we'll have a party and that'll be great. And Bella said something to the effect of like, yeah, the last time you threw a party, which from the last movie was the time that, you know,
It
uh,
was
uh,
technically Bella's fuck up because she got a paper cut on a package
right.
on
Bella started
wrapping
bleeding
paper.
all over the place and everyone started freaking out. So,
All right, you have like your entire senior class hanging out to be like, "Whoa, let's get crazy up in this party." You're telling me that not a single one of those kids is gonna like fuck up somehow, and Jasper's gonna be like, "I need it."
oh yeah, no, it's gonna be bad.
Right? So I kind of get it. I kind of get why she's like, Alice, what the fuck? But then they do it, so whatever. You want to talk Jacob? Let's talk Jacob.
Boy, Jacob was still on his shit this movie, boy. Oh man.
He's still looking like the cutest little snack though.
Oh yeah.
Like he just looks so like good in this movie, and then everyone else just looks very like, I don't know. Like he definitely looks, even though he was an actual like high schooler, does not look like he should be in high school.
Oh
And
no,
then
he
Robert
doesn't.
Pattinson definitely, bro, those sideburns. Every time I saw them, I was like, The oldest fucking man in high school has sideburns like that, okay?
Hold on,
But yeah,
I want to see how old he was when this movie was filmed. All right,
he
so
was
he was
probably maybe like mid-20s. I'd want to say like 24, 25, to be honest.
24.
Okay, I was right. Sweet. That's a little upsetting that I just just straight up called that. Anyways,
Well,
uh
so yeah, but when Jacob shows up and he's like, "Yeah, let's go for a ride." Again, like, Bella, you have class.
dude, for
You just
real. It's literally the beginning of the school day. Your friends are outside going, "Where's Bella going with that kid again?" And then it's dark when she gets home and Charlie's like, "What the fuck? He do- he doesn't even respect dinner?" Actually, I was with Jacob all day long. Thank you,
right. Skip school and everything. Don't worry about that call you're going to get from school.
dude.
No. And then uh the um oh, when Jacob kisses her and she tries to punch him and breaks her hand, I was like, "Dude, Jacob, come on, man. Like, what are you doing, my dude?"
The worst kiss ever to be like, "Let me pull you in for a kiss that you didn't ask for,"
Right.
and it looks uncomfortable as heck.
And you
Uh,
know what? To be fair, that's probably what they were intending, and it came off perfectly.
yeah, and it's good. Um, Listening to Jacob tell her about what imprinting is, and she's like, "So have you ever done it, or?" And he's like, "You would know." Okay, because it seems like you would have imprinted on her. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Oh God, I'm still not looking forward to that.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait for the stupid fucking baby.
I I
Ooh,
haven't even seen the baby. I have no idea what I'm in for.
you haven't seen? Oh my god.
No.
It's okay. I'm so excited. Uh, Edward and Jacob just having extreme beef this movie, and they start like getting ready to fucking fight it up, and then Charlie like comes over and he's like, "I kissed Bella and she broke her hand punching my face," and Charlie's just like, "Can I trust either of you now?
Right.
I can't even trust Jacob. That's my boy right there. That's the kid I'm rooting for." I straight up feel like Charlie was like, "Man, why don't you just go for this one?"
You know, there's a very important note that I wrote down, and that is uh maybe all three of them are bad for everybody. Like, maybe Bella doesn't need to choose just between them two, because at this point, the one nerdy kid who's kind of been like a cameo role since the first movie, who initially was trying to
Oh,
Mike.
Mike?
That's his,
Yeah.
yes. I mean, Mike is kind of dorky, but I mean, Mike's not looking like that bad of a dude right now. He probably has like very little baggage at this point. He's probably like, his probably hang up is like, Bella, you know what I really like is this game called Dungeons and Dragons, and the rules are pretty cool, and here are these minis that I made. Like, that's probably his biggest thing. That's not gonna kill
Yeah.
you. You don't have to worry about like weird wolf things or vampire things, people coming to kill you or anything. You don't have to worry about that. You just got to deal with some nerd stuff.
Mark, you don't understand what it is to be a teenage girl in a triangle love relationship with two monsters. Ugh. Why
You're right,
can't
I
you
don't.
just understand her problems?
You know what? You're right.
Those are,
You're
those
right.
are the best problems. That's
I
what
am
every
I am
girl
now
wanted when these movies came out, was to be like, "Ugh, I wish two boys would fight over me for my immortal soul and love."
Instead, I got Tyler, who's drunk, pulls up in his truck, and won't leave me alone. I broke up with him 6 months ago.
God, too real. Uh,
Um, what
we
did you
def.
think?
Oh,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no,
You.
no, please, please.
What'd you think? This is my first time seeing. What's her face? Rosalie. Is that her name? Rosalie's story.
Yes.
Yes. What'd you think of that, man? I really dug it. I thought that again. Loved her story. I was like, this is great.
Yeah, I really like going back and like looking into their stories of how everything happened. And she just wanted to be a regular person. And so like this is how you like find out why she like is like fuck you, Bella. I wanted to be a real person. I would love if Emmett and I could walk the beach and grow old together with our grandkids. And you're over here just trying to go ahead and waste away
Right.
being 18 forever. Her story is so sad. And then, like, she's like, at least I found Emmett and it got a little better. Well, meanwhile, Emmett's like the best goof in this movie. He's just this big, dumb, muscular guy that she's just like, all right, I'll take him. What'd you think about Jasper's backstory?
Um, I think it's interesting, especially in this day and age, that we made Jasper a Confederate soldier, um, and that by the end of it, you're like, you know, he's done had a change of heart because really and truly, like I figured that they would have gone the route of like, yes, we were turning slaves into vampires to win the war. Um,
Oof.
but they didn't. It was just a bunch of kids. But again, I liked Jasper's backstory. I thought it was very, as in the books, um, was very fun to explore and gave us a little bit of insight into that character. So it was fun. I am kind of confused that his southern accent was kind of all over the place. Like that actor could not nail that down
Yeah,
right.
Jackson Rathbone definitely had a little bit of a consistency issue, but it also, like, this is his first real time being able to, like, talk in a movie.
Yeah.
The other two movies, he was practically, like, mute. And, like, we definitely discussed Robert Pattinson in the first movie, trying to nail down, like, an American accent.
Yeah.
So, you know, we'll get him a little bit of slack. But I thought it was interesting that he's just like, yeah, I've, uh, I've definitely trained with a bunch of these, baby vampires. What are they? What are they called?
Uh uh for, newly turned
Newborns? Is that all they called them?
I'm trying to think, was it newborns?
Maybe. There was one thing that I put in here. One of my notes, Riley is over the newborn babysitting. So true.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
Oh, we ain't talked about the guy
what?
at the beginning of the movie. The
Riley.
absolute horror victim where he
Poor
was
kid.
walking home, he notices something. He's like, "Cool, you know where I'm gonna go? This dark alley. I'm gonna run away from the people." And then he gets to, and then slowly but surely, these vampire Victoria, presumably, just slowly but surely is just, toying with her food, as it were. And I was like, come on, man, like run back to people, getting some sunlight, my dude.
Hey, it don't stop them. It just show them. Yeah, Riley's character was very interesting to see him eventually becoming in charge of all these little baby vampires. I would not want to be him. Let's be honest. That's
Oh
a
yeah.
lot of chaos that you got to take care of, and he's constantly like bro, nobody cleans up around here. Like, yeah, you changed like 25, 30 new little vampires, and now they're all going blood crazy.
Right.
What do you expect? And the Volturi's over there like, this should be fun.
Um, I really want to talk about the things that I did like in this movie, and that was all the action scenes. I thought the CGI was great in this movie.
True.
The wolves looked fantastic. The wolf fighting looked great. The pack hunting when they were chasing Victoria from like either side of the river, and on like one side the vampires were chasing after, and then they go to the other side, the wolves come out and they just start chasing her. I'm like, yo, this looks good. The fight with all the vampires, it looked good.
Yeah.
The shape changing with the one girl where she just basically phases out and just explodes her clothes off and runs off into the woods looked great. Like,
I do really like that, like, form of people just changing into wolves, just as simple as that.
Right.
I think it's cool.
Yeah, it is nice. It is nice that we don't have to have. I can't even remember if I brought this up before, where we don't have the slow, like it is complete agony for us to change into werewolves. It's this big long, American Werewolf in London type of scenario where like all of our limbs are breaking and all of this to transform every time. And I'm glad we haven't got that scene. That's nice.
Yeah. Luckily, we won't get that scene.
Yeah, right.
Um, Speaking of, like, the wolves, I really hope that you've actually seen the actual picture, but when Bella's, like, standing there next to Jacob and, like, talking as he's in his big wolf, and she, like, goes to pet him, there's an actual, like, photo of it's Taylor Lautner in like a green suit with his head kind of like bent in front of Kristen Stewart, and she's just rubbing his head because they had to do it for the CGI. And it's so funny every time I ever see it. I'm just like, bro, that would be so weird to have to be like, oh yeah, my coworker. Let me just give him a quick little pat pat.
I imagine being an actor is probably you have to do like some pretty weird stuff, especially in a movie that has a lot of. See, oh, I just found the picture.
Yeah, isn't it good?
It's great. You remember that one dude who was internet famous probably about 8 years ago, who wore that pink bodysuit and did like the, what was it, Gangnam Style or Harlem Shake or something like that. And yeah, that's
I
kind
know
of
who
what.
you're. Yeah, I know who you're talking about, and I cannot think of his name.
Yeah, I
Jeez.
don't think I ever knew that dude's name either.
No, I do know
But
it, and that's upsetting. I can't think of it.
but
Anyways, but
but
yeah,
especially in a movie like this, like the actors who play the vampire troupe that have to walk out of the water,
so
not
cool.
swim out, they have to walk out, and that looks awesome. And I can imagine that it's probably cold.
Dude, for real. Because that, it was like a cloudy day when they did that.
Yeah,
And yeah, no, that absolutely had to be cold. It kind of reminded me of one of those scenes from the Pirates of the Caribbean where they do something similar to that. But it just looks like, what's up? We just came out. Because I guess, vampires don't need to breathe underwater, so that's a good, like, move tactic.
I I do have like, oh man, this is where my dumb brain goes. Is like, I want to know they how they get those kind of shots. Like, are the boots heavier than normal so they can kind of walk, through the
Maybe.
water? Um, you know, was how much of the snowy scenes were actually snow versus just fake snow, and it was probably hot because Jacob's walking around without a shirt on. Like, was he legit freezing because it was 30 degrees in the Oregon winter because they needed snow? I have so many questions.
Oof. How would they keep him warm? His tiny little nipples would be literally like purple, I feel like. That'd be
Well,
awful. It's the makeup effect. Oh my gosh, we're so silly. So they keep him looking warm. They
right.
just put makeup on him. Let's talk about this little proposal moment where he does his like whole story of like, this is how I would court you and whatnot. After she's like, so we're not having sex? Okay. And then she's like, wow, look at this ring. And in the books, the ring is described as like absolutely beautiful. It's magnificent. And then you see this ring and you're like, that literally looks like he picked it up at like the clearance section of Target.
Yeah.
Like it looks so bad. If someone proposed to me with that, I would be like, you're out of your mind. That thing looks insane. And it should have went in the ground with your mother. You've been holding that thing for too long, buddy. And then they're like, oh, at some point, we have to tell Charlie because we're going to get married in like a month.
right.
Like, they're, it's literally like, so I think they would graduate in like May. So if it's August, they like have like 2 or 3 months. I can't remember if she was like, let's do it before my birthday on this date, or if it was like, I can't remember. But either way, you're giving yourself like 2 to 3 months for a wedding. Your dad doesn't know. You're 18. Your mom's going to have to fly all the way out here. Alice is going to literally do everything. Crazy.
It's the
What would you
whole.
do if your daughter came up to you, just graduated high school, and was like, anyways, this guy that you don't like, we're getting married, and then we're moving to Alaska for college?
See, here's the thing. If I knew there was a boy involved, and she was like, "Oh, me and Timmy, we're moving to Alaska, and I'm gonna go to Alaska for college," I'd be like, "Are you pregnant?" Like that would be my legitimate first response. I'd be like, "What?"
Sure.
Um, because clearly you're investing so much in this. Like, I don't know. I don't know. What do I know? I don't know. I'm just a middle-aged man with a teenage daughter. I wouldn't know what to do if she came up to me and said, "Me and Timmy are moving, and he's coming with me to college." I'm like, huh. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. And also because Alice doesn't seem like that kind of person. So, yeah.
In my head, I thought you were talking about the Alice from the movie, and I was like,
Oh.
what? She would totally plan this wedding. Yeah, no, you're right. Alice would be like, that's crazy. So this girl in my class did this, Dad. Isn't that crazy? Looks
She
at you to be
does.
like, what's this reaction we're gonna gauge?
It's weird because I'm really kind of curious to see, like like she's involved in a lot of things, but I know when I was involved in a lot of things in school, like I had a girlfriend, and she does not have a boyfriend, and um, I think there's been like a couple boys to ask her out, but she's been like, "Nah, like it's cool, I don't want to do it," and I'm like, "Okay, rock and roll, man," you know, but it's weird because if she like all of a sudden just fell head over heels uh, with with some with some boy and was like, "Oh, that yes, this is it, and we're together, and we're gonna move to this place and that place when I graduate, go to college and do all this stuff. I'm like, this is not Alice. Because Alice is
Yeah.
also very much kind of like her mother in the sense that, no, I know what I want. And either you can be along for that ride or not. And if we're
That's
both
fair.
going in the same direction, that's cool. But yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah. Just looking at it now, definitely when I was in high school, I was like, whoa, romance. And then I look at it now and I'm like, bro, it literally seems like not a good relationship when you listen to enough true crime where the guy's like, I'm gonna get you away from your family. No one's ever gonna see you again. Like,
Right.
uh, what? No, we're calling the cops right now, and your dad is the cops.
You're right.
Charlie gonna come stop this fucking wedding.
um. Oh, I want to talk about the scene where Bella is like, Jacob, kiss me. And he's like, what? And she's like, kiss me. What'd you think of that? We went through this whole rigmarole earlier, and they kiss, and it still looks awkward.
Yeah, yeah. No, he definitely he wants that relationship so badly, but he doesn't know that something's gonna grow inside of her, and he's gonna be like, "Oh, that's why I liked you. Now you're like trash in my brain."
How weird would that be?
Dude, I
how
cannot imagine.
how weird would we're gonna have to talk about this next week. I don't
Oh
know
yeah.
which movie of the last two the baby shows up, but we got to break some ground. We are going to have an hour-long discussion on imprinting. Don't you worry, because
Ooh.
man. All right. But I wrote in my notes when she's like, "Kiss me, Jacob," and I'm like, I wrote, "Hi, I'm the problem. It's me."
Yeah.
She absolutely is the problem. Um,
I think they're all kind of the problem. Like
yeah.
all three of them. Because Edward's like, I don't want you around him. You know they can't control themselves. They're those nasty dogs. And then Jacob's like, I'm the best decision for you. I'm alive. Once he kills you, like what's even the purpose of my life? Like he really is just like this teenage boy that's in love while he's also being kind of a dick. And I'm like, I get it. He is really being a douchebag right now. But he's also like doesn't want someone that has been his friend and been like someone that he is very much in love with to just die.
Right.
It's like such a weird thing to like be like, now if I were in Jacob's shoes, how would I? What do you mean? What do you mean? Anyways, yeah, that kiss was both kisses were just weird. And then Edward's just like, what the fuck?
Right.
Because he's literally right there. And she's just like, anyways,
Yeah.
so you ready to fight some vampires, babe? Or
Yeah, and then we go to this big awesome vampire thing, which was awesome. And then right after that, okay, here we go. So we get done with this awesome battle, and then little Dakota Fanning shows up. Is it Dakota or Elle Fanning? The
this one is
Jane.
this
Jane
one
is
uh,
the character's name.
if you hadn't have said it, it's Elle Fanning.
Okay. So she shows up, and we're like, okay, cool. No, it's Dakota Fanning, not Elle Fanning.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's Dakota. Okay. Anyway, so Dakota Fanning shows up, and she's like, "Yo, what up? I got cool red eyes, and I'm gonna make this poor little girl who decided to opt out of this whole fighting thing. I'm gonna make her hurt." And they're like, "Oh, we have to kill her." And the Cullens are like, "We can't do nothing about it because technically they outrank us, so we can't do nothing about it." And Bella watched all of this all of this wildness go down. Okay? There was just this huge vampire werewolf fight because of her. And then she's still like, yep, want to be a vampire. I would have been like, nope, going to Florida later. You can catch me in Miami. I wear the sun shines all the time. Bye.
Right?
I cannot understand for the absolute life of me while she is still like, yes, turn me into a vampire. I love you. No, it's too dangerous at that point.
Yeah. No. She's just crazy.
Yes, she is.
Love make you do crazy things. Especially when you're a teenage girl and your hormones are literally like absolutely insane. I wonder how Edward's like, does he? I would assume he has hormones. You know, they're not being produced. Maybe they're just like stored for the rest of his life as a 17-year-old boy. How's he over there? Like, it's just weird to think about because it's like technically your body should be this age, but like it's dead, but it's your brain still somehow is working enough that you can do what you got to do. Vampires are weird. I don't get it. It's
so
crazy nonsense.
so I have this question for you. As a female, and because this movie came out at the right time for you, do you think Edward, Robert Pattinson as Edward, is attractive?
Do me currently or me in high school?
No, well, I mean both. Why not?
Because yeah, I did, and I do.
Okay.
I think he's a nice looking man. I think that the makeup sometimes makes him look a little weird, maybe. But like Edward Pattinson as like just
Robert
like
Pattinson.
yes, Edward Pattinson, his real name. No, but like Robert Pattinson, I do think is actually an attractive person. Do
Oh,
you not think that way, or is
well,
it just like the
I
character?
I think it's just Edward because
Okay,
looking at him like doing interviews for the Batman, he's a handsome dude,
yeah,
and I get it. Um, and I think I'm kind of this with like all three of our main people because like even Kristen Stewart in this, there's parts in this when I'm like, I don't get it. Like she's pretty, but she's not lead actress pretty in this kind of thing. For this vampire that's all like, oh man, we're so beautiful and blah 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 and all this. I would expect Bella to be more of like classic Hollywood beautiful, if that makes sense. You
kind of
know,
like how Rosalie looks.
yes, like Rosalie or Alice or well, I can't say Renee or Esme because Esme, well, boy, she was given some looks this movie. Oh boy, but
Oh Lord.
but no, it's just weird. And Jacob's a beefcake. I'll give credit where credit's due. Like that
For
that
real.
is that is a good looking man who put in some work towards that body. Good for him. Um, but yeah, I wrote in my notes because like towards the end they're in some weird scene and I'm like, I don't think either one of these two are attractive. This is weird.
That's so funny.
So I needed to get a second opinion
That's fine.
from someone who uh you know who was the right age and the right gender for this whole franchise when it came out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so many people like my age now, like look back at these movies and they're like, man, Charlie was it.
Yeah, buddy.
So I guess it's just like because I essentially was in like middle school watching these and growing up, I was just like, whoa, that's attractive. Like, I don't know. Just being like, someone to love you forever. Wow. That's a real man right there. I don't know, man. being being young and seeing shit like that is just it's crazy. I get why parents are like, we don't want our kids to watch this kind of shit
Yeah.
because it's wild. But like I said, even though I grew up in a very conservative Christian house, like I watched this with my grandmother, and I definitely watched a lot of like weird horror things growing up, and like a lot of things that like I know kids my age were definitely not watching. So I'm just like, I don't know. Maybe my brain was definitely already like a little askew on how real life works, maybe. Because I was just watching a bunch of horror movies. That and Chopped. Chopped and Say Yes to the Dress. Those were my jam. I watched those shows so much in high school. Both of those. Just constantly, back to back. Anyways,
Well, that's all I got for Twilight. Do you got anything else?
you mean for Eclipse? Ooh.
Yes, sorry. For Eclipse. The Twilight Saga. 3 Eclipse, 3 Furious.
Three Eclipse, Two Furious.
There we go.
Yeah, I guess we're good.
All right, word. All right. I can't wait for next week. We're gonna start getting into the end game next week. I think it's just gonna get more and more absurd. So, all right. Let's move on to the next segment. My favorite part of every week, where we talk about the things that have made us happy. Raven, what has made you happy this week?
Today, as we're recording, is Kavik's 10th birthday.
Hooray!
Yay! So we had him a little birthday party where my family came and visited, and we got him like a little doggy cake. And then after they left because they were going to Smokey's baseball game, Chris's mom and stepdad and younger brother also came over. And so we just had like a nice day where all the boys were so happy and got to see a bunch of their favorite people. And Kavik just got plenty of loves on. So yeah, we're happy about our big now senior dog. So we got two seniors in the house. Although we definitely call Boo the geriatric, so bless him. But how about you? What's made you happy this week?
Man, I genuinely didn't know. Not that anything was bad, but didn't. It was just a regular week until today. And man, Amy's beauty pageant. Let me tell you something. Raven, you already know this, but dear listener, Amy won 2 awards, 3 awards really. She got the People's Choice Award, which means people voted for her, and she won. She won that, so she got this big crown, and um, and I I mean, listen, I wasn't expecting it. It was great. It was dope. I was so happy she won, and then she got another thing for best smile. So she got like a little medal with that, and then she got like runner up to the thing to like the main um winner in her age class. So now she's got these 2 crowns that she's trying to manage, these 2 sashes, and she's, God bless her, man. She was trying to keep it together up there.
Oh,
She was doing so good. She had this big moment, a whole lot of big feelings, and I couldn't have been more proud of her. She did so good. It was great. I was in the seats with just a big old grin on my face from ear to ear. It was the absolute best. Yeah.
oh, proud dad.
Yeah. It was pretty dope.
She did
So,
sound very excited about it. So
yep.
I was like, what are you gonna do with your crowns? And she goes, I don't know, they're just on a shelf right now. And I was like, sounds
Yeah.
great.
So, all
Oh.
right, Raven, why don't you tell everyone where they can find you on the social medias?
You can find me over on Twitter at spooky_raven or on the Instagrams at That's So Raven Ellis. We also have social media for this cute little podcast that you're listening to currently. It is called Nerd for No Reason. Just look up Nerd for No Reason. You'll probably find us. Mark, how about you?
You can find me on all the social medias at Turtles Do It. That's Twitter, Instagram, not really Facebook. Um, yeah, pretty much Twitter and Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads. Yeah, I think those are the four bigger ones. But really, I'm not really on any of those too awful much. If it wasn't for this podcast, I don't think I'd have any of them anymore. They're just turning into a wasteland. But hit me up. Say, hey, tell us what movies you want us to watch. It might bring me back, man.
Be a great time.
So, all right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in and hanging out with us as we talk Twilight. This has been super fun. When we get done with Twilight, we're moving into spooky season, and I have been seeing movies like literally for the past 6 months, and I'm like, nope, we got to save that for October. Nope, we got to save that for October. There's so many movies.
So excited.
Yeah, and we're real close to finishing up the end of the year. Like we almost have like everything blocked out until the end of the year. So yeah, y'all better hold on to your butts. So
whoa,
yeah,
good movie reference.
All right, everybody, we'll go and do something wonderful in the world today.
You guys go ingest all the coolest new medias, and we'll see you again next week on the Nerd Reason podcast. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for listening to the Nerd for No Reason podcast. You can find us on all major social media platforms at Nerd for No Reason. Our podcast music is Memories in 8-Bit by Deanna Joan, aka Fergie's Human. You can follow her on Twitter at Deanna Joan Music and check out her other social media links in the show notes of our podcast.